Okay, well, I mean, we can start with, I guess, the topic of the day is how the technology affects the real estate and how it actually helps us. And um, can we, what's the, I guess, future trends in real estate? So my name is Yuriy Nesvit. I'm with the XP Realty, and I've been doing real estate for 5 years roughly, and I've been doing mortgages prior to that for about 15 years. And lately, the real estate I think changed drastically within probably the last 5 years or so. I mean, I can start from how we prepared the market, the house for the market. Prior to these drones and everything else, there was only photos, I guess, and that's pretty much it. And I want to show you something here. Oh, I gotta share the screen, right? Do you see this? So that's a bit of a statistics. What affects the price, I guess, and popular features when it comes to the real estate website and that kind of stuff, right? Well, first of all, websites weren't available like 10 years ago, right? So now the technology is there. Now we can expose your property to as many people as we can. But it's kind of interesting statistics here that the photos are generating a crazy amount of interest along with the property info. And I thought, all those virtual tours, videos are great, and they should be at the top of the list. Well, I look at it and it's like, oh my God, this is on the bottom of the list, only 25%. And then I'm thinking myself, like, do I pay attention to that? And maybe 1 out of 10 properties I go on a virtual tour.
Right.
Just to take a look, and I think that makes sense. So and photos, but when we're talking about photos, it's not just the photos. We have virtual tours or Metaport technology, which creates a kind of a dollhouse image of the property. People can go and look at every nook and cranny kind of thing, and you don't really need to go and visit the property. You can magnify the picture to the extent where you can see dents and scratches, not just your HDR visual sort of thing, a picture where it's kind of a little bit more embellished, and people think, oh my God, it's great. It looks so great. But then when you start zooming in into little things, and if you on a picture shows just like a little line or something like that, you go in and it's a 1/8 of an inch crack, So, and photos gone again, photo technology gone above and beyond, and you can take great pictures with that. Like I said, Metaport is another one. There's several ones on the market. Metaport is a more popular one, I guess, that creates the same virtual tour. And again, this is all about exposure, right? All about bringing the property to the customer and showing it in the best view. Another one is that's kind of an emerging trend is the virtual staging, where you don't have to do it. You don't have to bring the actual furniture. The picture looks as is you have your furniture there. When you don't know the difference, you will not be able to tell. Because I'm doing it, then I'm able to tell, and but it looks great. You just have to put a disclaimer. This property is virtually staged. You're not going to see this beautiful couch or a centerpiece or this or that. But if you think about it, you have, people are buying with emotions, right? And for us as a real estate agents, the biggest thing is to bring the client in and then let them decide. We can't decide for them. They have to decide for themselves. And I was lots of time was debating, oh my God, like HDR doesn't, it's great. It looks better than the house. And my fear was, well, yeah, but they're gonna come in and they're not gonna like it. Well, you don't know that. But at least they were there.
Mhm.
Because if the pictures are not good, or if you can't attract them to see the property, then they're not buying it for sure. If they're already there, then it's up to them to decide whether they want to put an offer in or not, right? So that's kind of a virtual staging in this day and age. Okay, let me go back here. Yeah, the social media, right? This is we haven't used this in a great extent like about 5 years ago. Now we employ this like crazy. I can send out a Facebook ad and on a listed property, and it's exposed to thousands of people. Where again, the biggest thing in real estate is, like I said, exposure, right? You got to reach as much exposure as possible. So we employ this at this point, anything from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, anything you can. I've seen even people advertising on Twitch, which is a gaming platform. And it doesn't matter where you can reach your client, and it doesn't cost you that much. So you'd use the technology and try to stick it everywhere possible, right? Yeah, the CRMs is mostly we use CRMs, which is database system. It helps us as an agents to keep in touch with the clients, so you don't feel left out. It reminds us of contacting people and that kind of stuff. Automation, email automation, same thing. It wasn't here. Ivan, you know better than I do when MailChimp was started kind of their services, but I'm pretty sure it's 5-10 years at the most.
Yeah, it's probably 10 years.
Yeah,
I can look that up real quick.
Yeah, that's okay. So digital transaction management, this is a great one. We used to come to people's houses and drive out just to get the signature. Nowadays, it's all DocuSign, all AuthentiSign. There's SimplySign. There's all kinds of sign virtual signature platforms out there, which is again kind of scary. But on the same token, you have to know your client. So somebody you don't sign with Luca, right? That somebody just jumps on a call uninvited, which I hope he had fun. So, and then artificial intelligence, again, this is more for the we didn't have this a couple of years ago. Now we all using that. Though you see those chat bots that kind of start the conversation. Again, it's I know it doesn't affect the price of or the value of your home and everything else. However, it eases up my load on an initial stages, so I can spend more time with the clients, not just somebody kicking tires and that kind of stuff, right? So that's basically where this comes very, very handy. Now, when it comes to documentation, I also wanted to point out before we had to do like land transfer tax and all those registrations and title insurance and everything else. All of those were done either manually, they had to be mailed and that kind of stuff. No more. It's all done through the registration programs, I guess, through the technology, right? So that everything kind of being put online and before, if it's talking about an appraisal, for example, before every time the appraiser had to come out. Nowadays, lots of companies like Royal Bank, TD, and other, and some credit unions as well, they just employ this. I don't know if it's artificial intelligence or just a technology that they get an instant value of your property based on your sold data, on your existing sales and that kind of stuff, or existing current listings. The only thing they require maybe a couple of pictures of your home just to get an idea of what your home looks like from the inside. So, and that speeds up the process drastically. 5G, I'm not sure yet, or where it's gonna come in. We'll see. You can read up on that, but obviously, with the people being working from home and that kind of stuff, the Wi-Fi connection is actually crucial, right? So the 5G would help with that, to have a steady connection. So that's pretty much that for this part. Anyway, when it comes to actually visiting the property and selling the property, there's also, we need to do an inspection. And inspectors employ lots of technology. They have to do the testing. It's anything from air test to radon or whatever you call it, the gases that could affect your health. Then they have electrical instruments to check the electrical outlets, if everything's working properly, so you don't get electrocuted. Also, they do measuring the moisture content in the houses, just to see if there's any leaks or maybe mold behind your drywall. I have this little instrument. It's called FLIR Pro. Basically, when you point it at the wall, it has a difference between it has a different color theme, sort of. For red, obviously it's warm. For cold, it's blue, and you can see where you losing your energy. So it's kind of cool. Without that, it's hard to see. And also, you can there's other instrument that check if there's literally water, like moisture content, right, under the floor and behind the walls. But I mean, this floor thing, it kind of helps. If it's cold, it's got to be either moisture or wind, or it's not exposed to the outdoor element, right? That's kind of the main things. I'm pretty sure there's more things out there that we employ. I mean, I didn't touch on the things that real estate agents use as a technology, because we use everything and anything to generate leads, to convert leads, to streamline the process, kind of thing. That's a different subject, I guess. You probably won't be interested in that, because we're not real estate
agents. Look at the local market only, or if you buy a property here in Hamilton for investment, like a condo, right?
Right.
And I mean, can you have a real estate agent that's going to focus primarily on Toronto market?
Absolutely. I mean, again, if it's Hamilton, we usually stick it to, sorry for the lack of a better word, but we put it on a local MLS, and we'll also put it on Toronto board, because Toronto board is the biggest one. And for example, Brampton, Mississauga, Etobicoke, Mississauga, Brampton, Markham, all they have connection to the Toronto board. So anything on their board they can see, and same thing on a local we are on a matrix which is connected to, I don't know, 17, 20 boards. So anything, so that would be cross-posted to pretty much all of the boards in southwestern Ontario.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, that way. But it's not, again, like I said, this is the biggest database, the realtor.ca. That's where it's gonna end up. However, like we have the
Because I find that, sorry, I just find that in Hamilton, and surrounding areas, real estate agents will say, you know what, I think we're pricing it high, and definitely for the comparables here, right? But people from Toronto don't care about the comps, really. I mean, if they find the right house, they have an emotional attachment to it. So I'm just trying to figure out how, I guess, real estate agents get that out of their mind about, the comparables when there's a massive market like Toronto there. Do they know how to market to Toronto to get the best sale price?
well, yeah. Well, again, the Toronto realtors are getting smarter eventually, or they. I don't want to bash anybody, but sometimes they list the property in Hamilton and it's not on the Hamilton board. They just put it on Toronto board. It's like, well, are you saying there's no buyers in Hamilton? That doesn't make sense,
Right.
But there's, if they're looking in Hamilton, normally they don't have access to it. Like I'm working with several realtors that I've set up searches for them. If they're looking for a specific property, I'll set up a search for them and they receive that and they send it to their client. And they give me parameters kind of thing, right? And then I'll send it to them. So, from that perspective, they get access to our board, and with that, and well, again, realtor wants to see more, I guess. Well, they want to know what's the commission paid, what's the closing, property history, that kind of stuff, so they can have the idea what's been going on with the property too, right? Before they talk to the client, because they have to provide an advice, and if they just see something that on MLS, it's not all of information there, or on the realtor.ca, right?
Okay, cool. Thanks.
But like I said, the realtor.ca. It's not the end of the marketing kind of thing, right? How you market, because, well, you put it on MLS, you put it on. When you put it on a board, it goes to probably thousands and thousands of websites, because we have this IDX technology, and Ivan probably can explain it better than I do, where you take the feed and it just feeds from MLS or realtor.ca to your website, everything that they have. And that's been, it's I think it may be a 1 day lagging kind of thing, but at least they get everything on their website, right? And if somebody didn't see it on MLS, they can see it on Royal LePage, on Remax, on my website. Like I have access to all of the boards kind of thing, and through that technology. And but that's another venue. The other venue is your social media, and you put it on YouTube, you put it on Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere else, right? YouTube obviously connected to Google, and you can also do direct, what do you call it, landing page, right? And a direct landing page, and you for that particular property you're selling, or and you put it on what do you call it, on Google or something like that, and you try to attract traffic from Google too. So there's all kinds of different things you can do. Sometimes people do it, sometimes don't. This is a seller's market. Some people don't see a point of doing that. because I'm gonna have to spend the money, and I already have five what do you call it, five showings a day scheduled for the next 5 days. So I don't need that, right? But on the same token, you're actually marketing for yourself, not for the client. People don't think that way for some reason. Any questions?
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was good. Interesting.
Well, again, like when I listed the property, and this is probably nobody going to tell you that, but I'd rather list a beautiful property and get it staged and do a professional photography, because that's my face, that's my whatever, my best testimonial. Like, you want to see how I'm going to list your property, or how I'm going to sell your property? Look, this is how I'm going to. But if you get a property that has lots of problems and you can't stage it, you can't. I mean, Porter House, for example, right?
Right.
And well, at that point, you're gonna have to manage expectations, as to, like, you cannot expect a top dollar for that property. Sorry, you still, again, you still can do a good job, but it just expectations obviously have to be managed and communicated too. So, but with the beautiful property, it's kind of an easy sale. You have to do your job, and it's kind of, well, at least at this point, it sells itself.
The Bank of Canada might raise interest rates in the new year, right? Do you think that that's going to have any impact on slowing the demand?
They're going to increase by 0.25%. Then they're going to increase for another 0.25% by the end of the year. We've gone through that many times, right? And it didn't slow down. We still have a shortage of supply. I was just reading. Reading the Facebook. We have 140,000 agents in Canada. 140, 170, something like that. I can't remember now. And only 260,000 units were sold.
Wow.
Do the math.
That's terrible. Wow.
So if you think lots of real estate agents are
Rich,
making rich, you think twice.
So the units sold, are those total units sold or just units sold through real estate agents? I mean, I'm talking about places like Purple Bricks or people that are doing it, selling on their own. Is that total units sold?
Yeah, let me check. Aria. Okay, here it is. On a year-to-date basis, home sales totaled a record of 237, actually not 260, but 237,000 units over the last 10 months, this was a gain of 22% from the same period in 2020. So last year was even less, right? It was around 200,000.
Wow.
So nationally, home. Let me see if this is for. Yeah, this is for
All homes.
for Ontario. This is for.
Oh, for Ontario. Okay. That makes
Sorry
sense.
about that. It is misleading a little bit, but again, we have about 70,000 or so. 70,000 agents just in Ontario, or probably more than that at this point. So
Yeah.
70,000 on 230. That's still three sales kind of thing a year, which is, again, some people make 10, 20, 30, some make absolute zero, right? And again, I don't, there's lots of, if we take out, some of the, part-timers that do it on a part-time basis just for themselves, the picture will be a little bit different, right? So, because that's what they do. They just, do one deal in a year, or two transactions kind of thing. And that's it. Which they probably have an additional income from somewhere else, right? So still don't feel bad.
I think people just have to, well, I mean, like everybody else, I think that if that's not your main gig, you're going to have a main gig anyway, right? So
Yeah.
you can live off of just that.
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter what you do, whether it's real estate or anything else. There's only 24 hours in a day, and if you're diluting yourself, here, or you trying to do something else, then you're diluting yourself in one, and then hopefully you make money in the other one. So that's and I've seen lots of people that working for the government or good paying jobs, and they just that have their license for that one deal or two deals that they do on an annual basis, right? And then for themselves, basically, because I probably wouldn't even go out to the public and try to provide the service, because you might be behind, or or forgot something, right? So, so definitely wouldn't enter into some more complicated deals or transactions like assignments, or estates or divorces or that kind of stuff, right? So, but it's you can miss one clause, and you can make a lot of people unhappy. So, any other questions? If that's